Welcome back to another edition of Let's Play WWE 2004. And as always, Sam?
Yo, 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 yo. Let me speak on this. That's all I got.
I didn't know I was getting joined by Conan.
Yeah, order like couple turtles and tossed salads.
Am I the only one holding my breath at this site?
No. I mean, I know there's bad news.
Also, really? I know what this is. Because it's either Austin doing...
Is this gonna be a protege thing?
Either that or Austin did something stupid.
Austin beat up a black guy for no reason. What are we doing with Scott Hall right now?
He's supposed to face Randy at the pay-per-view.
Well, I think we should send him to rehab.
You want to just send him after the pay-per-view? Because this is only the second time he's done it.
Yeah, if you want to, but I don't want to, like, fuck up Randy's morale. It's up to you, because the way I play it, they go to rehab on their first offense. Because I don't play that shit. Okay, say that. Don't play that shit.
And I just feel like not having Randy...
If you want to chance it, that's fine. We'll take it. We'll take Scott on to the pay-per-view. We'll drug test him after the pay-per-view, and then we'll, Oh, what'd you do?
I find him.
And he was happy. It didn't say he improved his behavior, though.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did? There you go.
They're already mentor protege.
Oh, wow.
What the
We need to do something with Orlando Jordan, then.
What the fuck? Are you kidding me?
What is... Wait, go to the roster real quick. What is Steve Austin?
He's a personality.
Can he have a match as a personality?
Depends on his contract. No, he's...
Oh, you know what though? It doesn't matter because it would just be an angle segment. Let's do a thing where how's Orlando Jordan's talking skills?
Good, but we should probably repair him before starting to have him on TV with...
Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to have him win some job matches, have him cut some promos, and I'm not saying this pay-per-view, maybe not even the next pay-per-view, but a pay-per-view very close down the road. I want him to come out and make an open challenge before the pay-per-view, and then his open challenge is accepted by Steve Austin, and Steve Austin comes out, stuns him, and leaves, basically.
Well, that should work because he can't.
Because we would just do an overness segment, Steve Austin's overness, based on that, and then just tell like, hey, this is what happened. I mean, that's what I like about CEW. Really, is I can just do creative angle, click on overness, or whatever, and then say, okay, what happened was this, blah 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 blah, and the possibilities are endless,
Yeah.
But I mean, I could just see that happening if he's Steve Austin's protege. He makes up a challenge. Steve Austin comes out, does them, drink some beers, and leaves. We could even save that for SummerSlam.
I mean, by that point, maybe he'll actually have a worthwhile reputation to be featured in the same thing as Steve Austin, but we'll see what happens.
And that's what I'm saying is it would give Orlando Jordan a fucking huge rub to be in a segment with Steve Austin.
Yeah.
It would give Orlando Jordan a huge rub. And now that he's Steve Austin's protege, I want to take advantage of that because I like that kind of stuff.
So, for those wondering, the reason why I'm on the history section of the game is because last week's episode of Raw actually got corrupted and was unable to be posted. So, we're just going to go over this quick before jumping into this week's episode, because we want to just make sure that all of you know what happened last week on both Heat and Monday Night Raw. So, just to pull out one main point or two main points, the feud with Val Venus and Joe continued on Heat, And Maven and Stevie Richards finally blew off their feud last week on Heat.
Yeah, not that anybody cared.
And then Raw saw the Piper's Pit with Triple H and Kevin Nash, and Sting finally made his WWE debut. The feud continued with Kane and Shawn Michaels. Tommy Dreamer and Al Snow continued their feud with Maven jumping in the feud. Jazz became #1 contender for the women's title. Eric Bischoff also booked a #1 contender match for this week's episode of Raw between America's Most Wanted and La Resistance. And Scott Steiner started a feud with Thuggin' and Buggin'. And let me just make sure. Yep, Thuggin' and Buggin' Enterprises. Rodney Mack, Mark Henry, and Teddy Long.
Thuggin' and Buggin'.
So, with that being said, let's...
They should call it Titus Old White.
So with that being said, let's cross our fingers and hope that this week's episode of Raw can actually be shared with all of you. And as we look at our available talent to bring in this week, we are interested.
Where are we?
California. In particular, Anaheim.
And there's nobody. You know what? Let's just. Oh, there's Eric Rowan. Jessica Darlin. What does she do?
Manager.
We don't need to bring a manager in for one night appearance.
She managed White Trash Johnny Webb.
Oh, we just done it for developmental then. He just went there. Oh, he's tight. He's only 27. We just signed him for developmental too.
Let's bring him in for an appearance. Looks like Tom Phillips.
I interviewed him one time.
Who, Tom Phillips?
I didn't interview him. I interviewed Kathleen Riley.
Oh.
He's from APW. He was teamed up with Billy Blade, and they were called the Mortal Fear.
Yeah, I saw that in his description.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Let's see how big of a...
I used to watch him in person, man.
Makes you feel old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in 2005, did I tell you about this? In 2005, I went to an APW show called Chick Fight, and it was a one-night women's tournament. And the only, star to come out of it, I guess, is, I guess a couple of, because Sarah Amato, you know who Sarah Amato is, right? Sarah Del Rey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was in it. But also, Becky Lynch was in it, as Rebecca Knox.
Huh.
So I thought that was pretty cool that I saw Becky Lynch wrestle in front of 100 people, you know?
Yeah. Well, now the feud continues. With Val Venus wrestling the squash match against our friend Cassidy Riley, and then getting assaulted by Samoa Joe.
Oh, yeah, and referees are there to pull them apart.
We're not going to have Samoa Joe beat up Trish Stratus no matter how much the game uniquely, when I accidentally hit the scroll wheel, scrolled down to Trish Stratus.
I think we beat up Trish Stratus. I mean, it would prove a point, you know?
Yeah, it would prove a point that we want to...
She's a hot chick.
That we want to approve domestic violence.
It's like a slap in the face to Val Venus' industry. Wait, did I say Scott Steiner was shooting with Thuggin' and Buggin'?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that'll be good.
You'd think. Let's...
Did we? I don't remember doing that, but...
Kind of want to push...
Where, they can both beat him up, and then he gets one-on-one matches, and he has to find a tag team partner, and all kinds of different stuff like that. And the promos that we could have, like, that could be really cool.
Play on his path, ECW, and why he I figure we use this show as the show to repair this feud because of the fact that, well, even though I think it might be blowing off soon, I still think using the heat to repair the feud for now would be better because it's got a 26 in momentum and I don't want to waste it on Raw.
Hey, if we had Tommy Dreamer go on a little winning streak while Al Snow was the color commentary, would that advance the storyline?
Yeah.
So let's do that for a few weeks and then to repair it to where Tommy Dreamer gets the best of Al Snow and the feud's kind of done, and then Tommy Dreamer keeps having a match every single week, and every time Al Snow just talks shit the whole time until finally they have another match and then, you know, so we could do that for like a month or 2 months of Al Snow just talking shit about Tommy Dreamer, and that could be a good way to get cheap heat on the feud.
Well, it's also that the feud's been going since February.
Oh, yeah.
But somehow Tommy...
It's only, what, April or May or something?
Yeah. Well, also, I'm just curious. Tommy's 10-2. He's lost 2 matches.
Nice. What did he lose to? He lost to Mick at WrestleMania.
And Perry Saturn.
He lost to Saturn on a Raw.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Tommy's never competed on Heat. He's only competed on Raw.
Yeah, see, so let's put Tommy on a little winning streak on Heat, and just have Al Snow just talk shit the whole time, and that'll probably put heat on the feud.
That works. We'll just do a segment before... I lied. Tommy can't compete in a regular singles match. It has to be a hardcore match.
I think it would be better if it was a regular match.
But Tommy's never competed in a regular match.
I know, but the game doesn't really do hardcore matches very well. I mean, go ahead, do it. That's fine. But usually we get hardcore matches will get bad ratings because it's poorly placed or whatever. I don't like to, you know how it says like work the crowd, all that different stuff. I don't like to mess up stuff. Technical masterclass, steal the show, all that stuff.
Yeah, I only do that when they tell me to do it. I don't do it on my own.
I don't like to mess with that because I feel like it's always like, this is poorly placed. Oh, this time was off. Oh, this. Oh, that. Oh, the collar's already didn't need to work.
Oh yeah, and for those wondering, yes, William Regal has finally returned from his stomach infection or whatever the fuck it was.
Nobody was wondering that.
Well, yeah, that's true, because he's never actually been here from the start. And I know everybody was wondering where Doug Basham was, so... I know nobody was wondering about that.
Oh, yeah. Hardcore Holly against Hurricane, huh?
Yeah. Hurricane hasn't competed yet this month, so... I mean, he's only competed once this month, I should say. Do we have... Where are the women? Or how are the women? Well, Jazz is the one going against Trish at the pay-per-view, so we can push that on Raw. But what about having how we were doing it where the women would come up. I mean, the
Yeah.
people would come up. What about having a woman face, like, having one of the main roster women,
Yeah, that's fine. What do you think?
issue open challenges and having, like, even on a bi-weekly basis, people from developmental coming up and accepting the challenge.
We could just do it without officially announcing it, and just kind of just do it. Just book the matches and have them come up with titles. I'm partial to either Cheerleader Melissa or Sarah Del Rey.
Let's just switch to this. Yeah, I think
Danny
she's.
would be good too.
I think Sarah Del Rey might be the closest to coming up, but I'm not sure.
I mean, it doesn't matter really. We could just test a few women out here and there.
Yeah. I know Sarah. Oh, she's a babyface. Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah, because she could fight Jazz or something.
Well, I was either thinking Gail Kim or Victoria, because Gail hasn't been used since March.
Okay, Gail, that's fine. And depending on how Sarah Del Rey does, I mean, we could call her up if we really wanted to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what we should do, actually? What I kind of wanted to do is bring up Sarah Del Rey and Cheerleader Melissa and make them a babyface tag team, and then bring up Velvet Sky and Angelina Love and make them a heel tag team, and then kind of just implement it into the women.
Oh wait, did we use everybody I brought in on one night deals? Yeah, we did.
Oh, we have Steve Carino. Did we use him?
Well, this is his first. Well, no, this is his first show. We just signed him.
Okay.
Do you want to book him on the pre-show?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think.
Yeah, against Campbell Otani. Yeah.
I think like figuring out the best way to maybe repackage Orlando would be better before bringing him back, or like giving him a push.
I completely agree. What did he do? He got a 42. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's buildable.
I completely agree with you. We'll keep. I wouldn't mind keeping him in Dark Matches for like a month even.
Yeah, that's buildable.
The storyline that I want to build up with him, with Steve Austin, will accomplish at SummerSlam, so we have plenty of time.
Oh yeah. That's true. I forgot you said SummerSlam.
Matches for like a good month.
Huh, both of them did good in the hardcore match.
Oh, nice. And they gained heat.
Val got a good match out of Cassidy Riley, who
64 for Val.
only got a 17.
Yeah, but we don't have to count that.
Joe and Val's feud continued. Gail defeated Sarah Del Rey. Sarah got a 28.
Oh, that's pretty good for a chick.
Yeah, I mean, I think she may need a little bit more time in developmental, but maybe I would agree that putting her in a tag team wouldn't be the worst idea.
Yeah, let's try, in the next couple of weeks, let's try Cheerleader Melissa, and we'll try the Beautiful People, too, on an individual basis.
Because I also know that if you find that some people do better in tag teams than they do in singles.
Yeah. It's just a good way to get people over, too, get them TV time.
Yeah. So how did we start Raw last week? We started it with a match. Yeah. You want to start it with the
Okay,
tag?
so what's happening? What are our main matches for this pay-per-view that we're building to?
Well, let's
Hunter versus Kevin?
Oh, shit.
It's Hunter versus Kevin, right?
Yeah. I just opened my web browser.
Sean in the match. Scott Hall. Okay, so I want to put Scott Hall and Randy Orton in some kind of confrontational promo segment?
Booker and Christian. Randy and Scott Hall. Ric Flair and Sting.
Sting. Oh, Sting. Okay, the show's gonna open with Sting.
Yeah.
Sting comes out. Rick comes out with Hunter. And Kevin Nash comes out to kind of stand next to Sting. And then Eric comes out to try to calm the situation. And then I kind of want to make a match on this, but I kind of don't think that these guys should be in a match right now.
Sting officially welcomes himself to the WWE and
this is where Eric officially books Flair versus Sting.
But Nash is out to even
That's the payoff here.
Even odds. And then I'll just do the side segment because what the hell's the difference? Oh, stupid game. No, this. Oh no. Sting. Ric Flair.
Wait, what's this about here?
You know what? No. Well, let's just add the 2 minutes to this and we'll have...
Yeah, just make that part of the announcement. We'll make that all...
Yeah. And then worst comes to worst, we can always just have the announcers talk about it later.
Right. No, that's fine. We'll just say, Eric Spencer comes out and goes, hey, you guys need to chill out, calm down, Rick, I'll get you what you want. You want a match with Sting? Backlash, you got it, okay? Just, everybody needs to chill out right now.
But now we move to the first match. Kind of want to let it be America's Most Wanted.
I kind of want to let the computer decide.
You want to let the computer decide?
Let's let the game decide. I've been into doing that lately.
We kind of started a feud with America's Most Wanted and the Dudleys.
Oh, well, then there we go. AMW wins.
Yeah, I noticed that when we
And then we make some kind of no, go back for a second. The lobby's the top one. Put Dudley on commentary. And that'll kind of help us out a little bit.
And of course, it's the go-home show before pay-per-view, so we can't have a prospective title match without the challengers contending to the champions doing the hand motion that they want the belt.
Okay, that works.
Let's do this for now, because we got a lot of a lot of things have happened.
How about, William Regal attacked Booker T and cut the promo?
With how Booker is in the feud, I don't know if that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Because he's neutral.
Because Christian's a heel, right?
You know what we could do? There is an upper mid-carder that neither of us really like that we can give to William Regal.
Oh no. Okay, who is this?
Bob Holly.
Yeah? I mean, they both need something to do.
Yeah, but I think we should hold it off this week and maybe do it next week.
That's fine.
Because this week is the go home for the pay-per-view, so I don't really want to,
let's have Booker T beat Stevie Richards, make Booker T look strong.
That works.
And put that like around the promo area so it like kind of blends in together. Either before or after it.
Yeah, we could do it after it.
Oh, it's just highlights? Okay, that's perfect then, yeah.
Yeah, because the feud's been going since January.
Yeah.
I think it was like the first feud we started. Yeah, up here. Yeah, January.
Yeah, we should end it then. End this show. It's not really doing anything for us at this point. We'll find another contender for Christian.
Okay, I think I'd rather. Well, let's do this. Announcers talk about Flair vs. Sting. Provide an update on Shawn Michaels.
What's happening there? Oh, now just talk about it. Okay, that's fine.
Huh. I guess we can give Trish a match, right?
Yeah, we could do that.
Trish and Victoria?
Sure. Is Trish a champion?
Correct. She's got Jazz at the pay-per-view.
Okay.
We did the #1 contender last week. Do you want to have Jazz get Jazz beat down Trish after the match?
Yeah, make her look strong going in.
And I also just realized that I'm almost 100% sure Jazz is managed by Teddy Long.
Oh, she's probably fucking a bugging? Nice.
Oh no, she's not, I guess.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, because she's black. Let's put her in that stable.
Hey, we're the black guys. Oh, let's put Ron Killings in it, too. Actually, we could. He would fit right in, actually.
Yeah.
Like, he would fit right in with them.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but looking at this after, it went up over 10 from just one show.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was at 26, now it's at 38.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I don't know about you. Pretty happy with that
Yeah.
last show. I mean, build for it, whatever. We don't have many Raw feuds. I'm realizing. We have a boatload more SmackDown feuds. Nitro.
And Banks, I can see that.
Oh, Antonio Banks is a heel.
Oh, okay.
They'd both be. It would be heel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Tonka, that's good. What's the main event?
I was just about to ask that.
Go to book a one-on-one match and look at the main eventers.
You think Kevin should compete in the main event?
Huh?
You think Kevin should compete in the main event?
Does Kevin have a match at the pay-per-view?
He's competing for the world title.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't.
Let's look at the main eventers.
He hasn't competed since WrestleMania.
Okay, then let's have Kevin compete. Who are the main event heels? Dang, we got Batista as the main eventer, huh?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
He was like upper mid card before. No. I don't want to do Batista.
Oh.
I don't want to bury that motherfucker. Fuck, who can we? Who's go back to upper mid card? You want to do Mark Henry?
No, he did shit in the main event last week with. Well, I mean, yeah, it was Scott Steiner, but he still did shit.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, I want to sacrifice Batista.
We can always have a dusty finish.
Okay, you know what? Do Dave, and then we'll have Triple H interfere, and the match will put Kev by disqualification.
Interfere. Hunter. I feel like Randy should. Or maybe Randy should too, just so Scott could come out and save him.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, even though, Randy doesn't need to interfere for that to happen.
And then the show came with Hall and Nash kind of like deliberating as the heels retreat. Oh, and there have to be three because Batista's out there too, though. Do you want Sean to come out? Sean? Even though Sean Peel and Kane.
Well, yeah, Sean's off TV.
We can't call Nash for on three guys, it's fine.
Sean's off TV. Because he got.
Yeah, we'll have Hall and Nash run off all three of us.
Well, we got a problem then.
Oh, what?
Scott got sent home.
What?
Hall got sent home.
Since when?
Remember, he showed up drunk. He got sent home.
Wait, I remember seeing that. Are you sure that happened? Oh, that was what we fined him for.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of Heat.
I thought it was drugs. I didn't really read it.
Oh no, it was alcohol.
Okay, well, let's have Kev get beat down. I mean, that's their only other option. 3-on-1 beatdown.
I mean,
Did we book Scott Hall and Randy in the segment or no?
we can't have him in a segment. Scott's not there.
Okay. So yeah, just have Kevin Nash do a three-way beatdown. Scott Hall's not there. Shawn Michaels isn't there.
I mean, not really booking him strong for the pay-per-view.
True.
Not really booking him strong for the pay-per-view.
Where is the Outlaws come SmackDown?
Yeah.
We're gonna have the Outlaws save them and just scrap everything we're doing with them on SmackDown and make it Kevin Nash and the Outlaws against Evolution.
I mean, we could have the Dudleys save. We could have the Dudleys save him.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, yeah, that is the just because they're baby faces doesn't mean they're friends. But
yeah, that's true.
It makes more sense than having killing what we were doing on the other show.
Yeah, I know. The fuck, we have like nobody else for Kevin. Our main event team is falling apart, bro.
And Evolution strategizes.
Next game, on Hall.
Three on one. Bubba, Devon, Kevin, Batista, Randy, Hunter. And I'll just, I'll say it right now to, those watching it and just out and about in general, that if it does pop up again at the pay-per-view, I'm going to be very mad because, well, that means we lose a pay-per-view match. not just for Randy Orton, but for, well,
This should happen for the wife. The break time.
and I'll also just point out the fact that, yes, we may be struggling to put together this show, but it's just because of the fact that we had planned to have both Scott and Randy have an active part in the show, but it's kind of tough having them have an active part in the show when one of them isn't here.
Yeah. So, I'm talking to you.
So we're gonna go a different. We had to go a different route, and that's just forcing us to take a little bit more time to put together the show, as opposed to how long it would usually take. Because usually it feels like we go through Raw pretty fast.
Yeah, so fast the stomach corrupts.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I think Kevin should get promo time. Nash talks about facing Batista tonight and Hunter on Sunday.
Oh yeah, because that's a big match. That's a marquee match.
Now we just need 2 minutes left to book.
Batista in the opening segment has off camera.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Go to the opening segment and add Batista as off camera. And then overness. Big one overness.
How does the show look?
Looks good.
It could be worse. Could be SmackDown.
Or it could be 3 hours.
Very good opening segment. But anybody who expected anything else is a Looney Tune. 90 from our top guys.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because about half of them are over the age of 45. I wonder if this means that Rene Dupree may be injured a while. Considering he just got a simple cranial fracture. That sounds painful.
The need of 3, ouch. What about that, America's 1-1?
I mean, it's good. It's good, though, because America's Most Wanted didn't cause the injury.
Yeah. Oh, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
That's good.
So the feud gets going with the Dudley Boys and America's Most Wanted. Officially. Christian and Booker highlights. Mr. Booker T gets the win over Stevie Richards. The announcers, we could get to the announcers to get an update on Shawn Michaels and Kane and Evolution. Trish Stratus beats Victoria ahead of her title defense on Sunday. Jazz attacks Trish to continue their feud that's also been going on since January. Tatanka beats Johnny Nitro. Evolution's traditional segment. Goldust and Rikishi. Scotty Steiner pushes his feud with Mark Henry. He may not be a main eventer anymore, but he's a good promo. He beat Caden Anthony in 35 seconds. $74, not too bad. Ouch.
Well, the closing segment would be pretty good. The ending segment.
Hopefully.
Oh, dang.
Not as good as I thought. But, nah.
Yeah, not good at that either.
It's all Scott Hall's fault.
Yep.
Better than last week's episode.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Only 4 better, but we still, pretty well shit the bed. As far as, the bottom stuff.
As long as we don't piss off Spike TV or whatever it is.
Yeah. But with that being said, what? Okay. As long as this is an indication of what we do on SmackDown and what we do for the pay-per-view, I'll be good.
Yeah, I'll be okay. It's fine. SmackDown's gonna do a lot better than this, probably.
Hopefully. Oh yeah, we actually, speaking to that, I think we did really good last week on SmackDown. We're not really good, but better than usual.
Yeah, SmackDown's got some good stuff going on. We've got Kurt Angle and Benoit.
Yeah.
Is Eddie Guerrero still alive? Oh yeah, he is. What's Eddie Guerrero doing?
Still teaming with Chavo.
Yeah, that's right, he's with Chavo.
Yeah. But
champions, actually.
As we reminisce about SmackDown, I want to know what you guys think. So let us know down in the comment section below what you thought of this booking and how you thought the go home show to Backlash was. Because feedback is always welcomed and appreciated. But if you don't want to leave a comment, you can always leave a like. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this that you can only find.
Or leave a comment and.
Or you could do both. And also, before I finish the outro, I'll switch it up since I butchered it already. That if you want to always know when a new video becomes live on Wrestling Express, ding dong that notification bell to always know when a new video is uploaded onto the account. With that being said, we'll see you at Backlash.